This is the world's strictest prison. Every cell is made of tempered glass, so prisoners' bathroom activities are completely visible. No matter how small the movement is, the cells are built suspended in the air, making traditional tunneling methods completely impossible. The interior is 100% enclosed, and no one can get a ray of sunlight. The number of guards is several times that of prisoners. They are fully armed. Hundreds of surveillance cameras exist, including spherical monitoring balls. The isolation cell is even more terrifying. Strong lights are always on, and once locked in, one can barely open their eyes. It's hotter than a sauna, a literal form of torture. Here, Uncle Long endures the pain and carefully observes the structure of the isolation cell, trying to find a way to crack it, but he spots the flaw he's looking for. Yes, the rivets on the floor. He has a plan. A prison break can't happen without help. So first, he needs to make friends. Before Uncle Long can smile, someone approaches him first. It's another muscular veteran named Arno, who seems to recognize Uncle Long's abilities. As soon as he comes over, he asks if there's anything he can help with. Uncle Long says, "I need a metal sheet." Arno replies, "That's impossible." Uncle Long retorts, "If you don't get it for me, I won't be your friend." So Arno deliberately gets himself taken to the interrogation room and mocks the warden furiously. The warden gets enraged and orders guards to punish him with water torture.
For the sake of swimming, a billionaire actually built a suspended swimming pool on the 18th floor of a high-rise building at huge expense, just to enjoy a 30-minute swim before going to bed every day. However, his bold design attracted revenge from his enemies. After repeated studies of the pool, Jack quickly discovered its fatal flaw. He then purchased an air decompressor, secretly connected it to the pool's fixtures. While the billionaire was swimming in the pool, Jack launched his revenge. He decisively pressed the remote control in his hand. The next second, the air between the pool's glass panels began to decompress. With the pool holding more than 200 tons of water, the lower glass panels instantly cracked. Sensing something was wrong, the billionaire frantically swam toward the edge, but it was already too late. As he struggled to swim forward, the pool's glass could no longer bear the weight of the water. Thus, the billionaire fell from the 18th floor and died instantly. All of this was his own doing. It turned out that the billionaire was actually a spy. A few days earlier, he had orchestrated a murder in London. Jack's wife, who was on a business trip there, unfortunately became their hostage and was eventually brutally killed. When Jack learned of his wife's death, he was overcome with grief. As a codebreaker for the intelligence agency, he quickly used his access at work.
A girl just stepped into the elevator. At the moment when the door was about to close, a big hand suddenly blocked the elevator. But it was a strange person wearing a helmet who walked in. After getting off the elevator, she found that this strange person lived next door to her. After entering the house, he vigilantly locked the door several times. After confirming safety, he lay on the bed and called his boyfriend. But just then, he found an extra bath towel on the cabinet, with a strand of hair on it. The girl rushed out of the room angrily, and cursed the pervert next door. After knocking on the door for a while and getting no response, the girl went back to the house and prepared to check the monitor. But just as she was about to play the video, there was a knock on the door behind her. When she opened the door, there was no one there. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. The girl slowly walked up and found a one-eyed little girl. After going back, the girl continued to check the monitor, and found that after she left, a stranger walked in, and the beer she had just drunk was also drunk by this person. The girl only felt a chill down her back. She turned her head and looked back. The helmeted man was standing in the corner. She slowly took out an iron rod with blood on it. The girl was finally killed by the iron rod. The scene changed. In a high-end community, the male protagonist Lao Han received a phone call. The apartment manager said that his brother seemed to be missing, and asked him to come to the apartment to pack up some things. Early the next morning, Lao Han came to his brother's apartment, which was the same apartment where the girl knocked to death at the beginning lived. Led by the administrator, he came to his brother's room. When Lao Han entered the room, a pungent smell came. The whole room was also in a mess. He found a box and took out his brother's passbook from it. Lao Han went to a nearby bank and found out his brother's recent consumption records. The last consumption information was actually a supermarket downstairs from his home. On the other side, his wife happened to meet the helmeted man in the parking lot. He followed his wife into the elevator in the same way. The police intercepted a strange box. Just as they were about to step forward to check it, they suddenly spotted a figure with a weapon on the ground. Fortunately, the team members reacted quickly, which allowed them to narrowly escape unharmed. After regaining his composure, Mike quickly aimed at the enemy, and the terrorist fell to the ground immediately. Once the crisis was resolved, everyone opened the container without delay. But inside, there was a black man with a large scorpion tattooed on his back, and torture tools were placed all around him. It was obvious that this man was by no means ordinary, and he was specially guarded strictly by the armed men. In order to thoroughly investigate the matter, Mike urgently took Billy to the police station. Little did they know, it was precisely because of the appearance of this man that an unprecedented bloodbath would be brought to the entire police station. Through interrogation, they learned that Billy's name was Scorpion, and he was an undercover agent lurking in a criminal organization. He held a large amount of criminal evidence in his hands, which was why he was being subjected to torture and interrogation by the other side. Then Scorpion added, now that he was under police protection, The terrorists would not let him off easily. However, before Mike could verify this, Maina suddenly told him that two men claiming to be higher-ranking police officers had come outside and demanded to take Billy away immediately. Upon hearing this, Mike did not dare to delay at all and immediately went to the hall to meet them. However, the guns at their waists immediately aroused Mike's suspicion regarding their real identities. Mike immediately asked who their leader was. As a result, the two hesitated and faltered, unable to answer for a long time. It was obvious that they were imposters, but Mike did not expose them. Instead, he led them to Billy's room, only to be shocked to find that Billy had long since left, just as he was at a loss. The name of this movie is *S.W.A.T. Undercover Breakout Star. Those who are interested can watch it on their own. Slice open a fresh orange, extract the seeds from within, place them into a flower pot. Soon enough, a miracle unfolds. A seedling emerges from the soil, growing swiftly to maturity. Before long, it thrives with lush foliage, then bears fruit. The magician plucks 2 oranges, tosses them to the audience one by one, inviting them to inspect closely. It's genuine. He then approaches a lady. She opens a box. The handkerchief has disappeared. Turning back to the magician, 2 butterflies are dancing, dangling the handkerchief in their grasp. How on earth did he manage that? Witnessing such a spectacular performance, the audience bursts into enthusiastic applause. This is 1909, a time when science was less advanced. The magician's act seemed almost like real magic to them. With his masterful talent, he enchanted countless spectators, amassing a fortune. Even the royal family knew of his renown. The prince brought his future princess, making a special journey to attend his show. This time, the magician performs an astral projection, requiring a volunteer from the audience. The prince immediately stands. Everyone expects him to step onto the stage, but surprisingly, he points to his fiancée beside him. An assistant brings a mirror. The princess walks toward the stage. As she draws nearer, the magician's expression turns increasingly astonished. It turns out he knows this woman. The man spent half his life in the minefield and finally unearthed a priceless sapphire. He thought he could exchange it with the king for a bowl of rice, but before he could speak, he was ruthlessly killed by soldiers. The little boy witnessed how cheap human life was in their eyes and could no longer bear it. He immediately snatched the sapphire from the soldier's hand, rushed to a high place regardless of everything, and painted a totem representing freedom with his hands. The oppressed slaves saw the spark of rebellion about to ignite and immediately raised their hands in unison. However, before their resistance could grow into a prairie fire, the leading teenager was taken to the execution ground by the king, ready to be beheaded in public. But even so, Herod showed no fear. He held his hands high, hoping to ignite the anger in his people's hearts with his life. Unexpectedly, just as the executioner brought down the axe, a mysterious force suddenly transported the boy to a cave. It turned out that the Wizard Association, which had been guarding the earth in secret, was moved by Herod's tenacity and decided to bestow upon him the power of Egyptian gods to overthrow the tyrant's rule. As the familiar incantation resounded through the sky, the boy was instantly covered in lightning and gained tremendous power. However, just as Herod led the rebel army to invincible victories, the king took advantage of the situation and launched a bloody massacre against his family. A billionaire suddenly died of a heart attack, but his inheritance was divided among his most unpromising son. Even his wife inherited a property worth hundreds of millions. The remaining money was all donated to charity free of charge. Only the daughter whom the father loved most got nothing. Although Lisa found this result hard to accept, she didn't say much in order to respect her father's last wish. However, after the inheritance distribution ended, the lawyer separately found Lisa before leaving. Then he handed her a document specially left by her father, saying that it contained the answers she wanted. After the lawyer left, Lisa couldn't wait to open the document. Inside were a key and a USB flash drive. Realizing there must be a secret hidden here, Lisa quickly plugged the USB into her computer. To her surprise, it contained a video recorded by her father before his death. In the video, her father asked her to go to a cellar, where there was a secret he had hidden for 30 years. Then he detailed the location of the cellar, and finally begged Lisa to keep it a secret for him. In order to find out the truth behind all this, Lisa decisively followed the clues to the mountain. Sure enough, she soon found an entrance in the forest. Then she opened the door with that key. However, when Lisa carefully walked inside, she was directly stunned by the scene in front of her.